My niece was 8 years old. She had nothing left in the world. No dad, no mom, nothing, except $2.3 million her grandfather spent a lifetime building for her. And my uncle took it, all of it, while she was still wearing black to school. My name is Maya. I'm 34. And for 14 months, I watched my Uncle Gerald smile at family dinners, bounce Lily on his knee, and act like a man with a clean conscience, while I had no idea he'd already emptied her future. My sister Dana died in a car accident. Sudden. Devastating. She left behind one daughter and one will, and that will named me as Lily's guardian and the executor of her trust. Simple. Clear. Legally airtight. Or so I thought. When I went to access the trust to cover Lily's school fees and a medical bill, the bank told me the account had already been transferred. Legally. With signatures. Approved and closed. I asked who authorized it. They said, Gerald Harmon. The man who held my hand at Dana's funeral. The man who told me, we'll get through this together. He'd already gotten through it. Straight to the money. And I had no idea how deep it went, not yet. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Here's what you need to understand about Gerald. He didn't act like a thief. He acted like a hero. The moment Dana died, he stepped in, handled the funeral arrangements, coordinated with the estate attorney, called the bank on my behalf, or so he said. I was drowning in grief and a screaming 8-year-old who didn't understand why her mom wasn't coming home. Gerald handed me coffee and told me to rest. I let him. What I didn't know, somewhere in that window of grief and paperwork, Gerald had obtained a power of attorney, signed, notarized, and legally processed. Supposedly signed by Dana herself. Before she died. The estate attorney who drew it up? A man named Patrick Solis. Gerald's college roommate. I only found out because I pushed. Because something felt wrong. Gerald was too calm, too helpful, too available. So, I hired my own attorney, Renee, a probate specialist with 20 years of courtroom experience. She pulled the documents within 48 hours and went quiet on the phone. Then she said, Maya, the signature date on this power of attorney. Where was Dana that day? I didn't know yet, but I was about to find out. Dana was at a conference in Seattle, 3 states away, on the exact day that power of attorney was supposedly signed in her home state. Renee subpoenaed the conference hotel records. The keycard log showed Dana checked into her room at 9:14 p.m., the same evening the document was notarized locally. Same night, different time zone. Physically impossible. It wasn't just fraud. Someone had forged my dead sister's signature. Renee tracked down the notary, a man named Curtis Webb, with 2 prior disciplinary complaints on his record. He claimed he'd processed exactly what Gerald brought in. Never met Dana in person. Never verified her identity directly. Just stamped it. We had him. But Gerald found out we were building a case. He called me, calm, almost bored, and said, You're spending money you don't have, fighting something a judge already signed off on. Think about what that stress is doing to Lily. He used her name, my niece's name, as a warning. That was his mistake. Because that same afternoon, Renee found something Gerald never expected us to find, an email he sent to Patrick Solis the night of Dana's accident, before her death had even been publicly confirmed. It said, Let's move forward with the transfer. Tonight. That email changed everything. Because it meant Gerald didn't react to Dana's death. He planned around it. The hearing was set 6 weeks later. Gerald arrived with 2 attorneys in expensive suits and a character witness, his pastor. He looked relaxed, comfortable, like a man who had already won. Maya arrived with a hotel key card log, a notary willing to testify, a forged document, and a timestamp that put Gerald 1 step ahead of a tragedy he should have known nothing about. Renee laid it out piece by piece. The geographic impossibility. Curtis Webb's testimony. The chain of communication between Gerald and Patrick Solis. And then the voicemail. Dana's voice, played aloud in that courtroom for the first time. Maya, I need to talk to you about Gerald. I think I made a mistake. The room went still. Gerald's lead attorney put his pen down. Gerald's defense argued clerical error, backdating, miscommunication. But you can't miscommunicate an email sent before a death certificate exists. Judge Claire Watkins removed her glasses. She looked at Gerald for a long moment. Then she said, "This will not end the way you think." Gerald's composure cracked, just slightly. Just enough. Then everything changed. Judge Watkins didn't hesitate. She ruled the power of attorney fraudulent, the trust transfer void, and ordered the full $2.3 million returned to Lily's account immediately. Gerald was stripped of any legal standing over the estate. The case was referred to the district attorney's office for criminal fraud and forgery charges. Patrick Solis surrendered his law license within the week, pending investigation. Curtis Webb received a suspended sentence in exchange for full cooperation. Gerald was arrested 23 days later. Bail denied, flight risk. The property he'd purchased in the months following the transfer was frozen. His own children released a public statement distancing themselves from him. Everything he built his reputation on gone. Because of one email he thought no one would ever find. Outside the courthouse, Lily ran toward Maya from the waiting area. Maya picked her up and held on longer than usual. Lily looked at her and asked, "Did we win?" Maya couldn't speak for a moment. "Yeah, baby. We won." 3 weeks later, on Lily's 9th birthday, Maya opened the first official disbursement from the restored trust, a savings account, just for her. Lily chose the profile picture herself. A photo of her mom smiling. The money was always hers. Maya just made sure she got it.